All right, for this video, I'm going to go over Python lists. So I've went over a couple of other videos looking at initially how to set up Python. We looked at variables, data types, numbers, strings, Booleans, operators, so lists. There's quite a few things to go through. I'll take a look at the how the video is going. If I can get this done within about 15-20 minutes, I'll try to get through the whole thing. Otherwise, I might break it up. List tuples, the next section, kind of big sections. After that, starting to get through a lot of the basics. Got to go through sets, dictionaries, which are tied in with list and tuples a little bit. If else, while loops, and then we start to get into some more interesting things. So all right, so without further ado, so list, you're basically just naming, coming up with a variable. For instance, this was called my list, and then lists are going to be within brackets. So this is important to remember. And what we're saying is that if we want to say print this variable called my list, it'll print anything within this list. So apple, banana, and cherry. Okay, lists used to store multiple items in a single variable. So apple, banana, cherry, that's multiple items, one variable, my list. So if we need to call my list, it'll bring up all of those items. Lists are one of four built-in data types in Python used to store. Again, I mentioned tuples, and then I mentioned data sets are tied in, and or dictionary, and then sets as well. They have different qualities and uses. We'll get to those when we get to those particular topics. Tuples, sets, dictionaries in that order coming up after this video. Okay. Again, you're going to use the square brackets. So this list equals apple, banana, cherry, and then we're saying print this list. So if I want to print this variable, it will come back and say apple, banana, cherry, just like this. So the output's over here on the right side of the screen with the black background. The programming or the coding is over here on the left side where you have the white background. Okay. List items ordered, changeable, and you can have duplicate values. So that's important to know. It's a little different from, I think, tuples, which you can't change. List items are indexed similar to what we've seen with other variables. The first item usually has an index of 0, second of 1, third will be 2, so on and so on. Ordered, when we say the lists are ordered, it means items have a defined order. It will not change. If you add new items to a list, they're usually placed at the end, unless you go back and add them via insertion or I think that's the main one, insertion, or you can append them to certain areas, but we'll go over that here in a little bit. Changeable, list is changeable, so that's good. So we can make some changes to it. Duplicates, so you're allowed to have duplicates, so apple, banana, cherry, apple. So apple's mentioned twice, and then cherry. You're allowed to have duplicates, so apple and apple, cherry and cherry. Okay. List length. All right, if you're going to do, if you want to see what the list of the length of the list is, it'll usually print the number of items. So that should come back as 3. Okay, so it does. And you're saying length and then this list. So length of this list, and there's 3 items in that list. Okay, can also make lists with different variable types. So one could be a string, one could be integers, one could be Boolean, true, false. All right, again, different data types. This one has a string, integers, and Boolean, all within the same list. So if I ran that, it'll come back say ABC, 34 true, 40 male. All right. So this is a pretty straightforward way to do a list. List constructor, you can also use the list constructor. I don't use this as much just because it's easier just to use one set of brackets, but it's always good to have alternative sort of ways to do things in your back pocket. So this list, same thing. We're just going to put list, and then it'll be within double parentheses, basically. All right. Couple things just because we're going to get into those at a later time, so we may as well learn them now. There are 4 collection data types in Python programming languages. List, collection of ordered and changeable. Tuple, collection which is ordered, not changeable. So we'll get to that. Set, collection, unordered, unchangeable, unindexed, cannot have duplicates. Tuples, you can. Dictionary, it's ordered and changeable. So there's a couple different varieties. I'll try to make a table for that to make that a little easier to understand. All right. set items are unchangeable, but you can remove or add. We'll go through some of those. Okay, so let's run through some of the exercises, see what type of information we've retained. All right, so here, what will be the result of the following syntax? Should be banana because we're saying print list item number 1. Apples 0, bananas 1. Okay. What will be the result? Oh, we already did that one. Okay. This one, what will be the result of the following syntax? We're going to print this item number 2. Should still be banana in this one because 0, 1, 2. Okay. List items cannot be removed after a list has been created. If I'm correct, list you can remove items. It is changeable. Correct. Okay. All right. So returning the number of items in a list. So I'm going to put len. Okay. So we've got the basics down. Access. So I've been on this video for about 5 minutes. All right, we'll try to get through another 2 or 3 of these in the next 5. All right, example, print the second item of the list. So you want to print the second item. We've already done that, banana. Negative indexing, so this one's going to go back and print the last item of the list. Now, this is good to note. Negative indexing means start from the end. So -1 refers to the last item, so that would be cherry. -2 would be the second last item, banana. Okay, so that should just come back and print cherry. Okay. Range of indexes. This one's good to know, and this one's usually a little trickier. You can specify a range of indexes by specifying where to start and where to end. So start, end. The search will start at index 2, which is included, end at 5, not included. So it's going to include the second one. So here we're saying specify range. So 2, 0, 1, 2 should include cherry. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not going to include melon. So it should say cherry, orange, kiwi. There we go. All right. That's a little tricky, and I know on some previous videos I've had to go back and sort of reteach myself that one, especially if you don't use those a whole lot. It's an easy one to forget sometimes. All right. Example. This example returns the items from the beginning, but not including kiwi. Okay. 2 but not including. So we're going to go, okay, so this here means through, similar to Excel or spreadsheets, except we don't have anything on the front end. So we're just saying beginning through 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's through but not including. Okay, so that should not include kiwi. All right. Leaving out a value at the end, range will go on to the end of the list. So 0, 1, 2. So this should be 2 through the end. So it should be cherry through the end, through mango. Okay. Again, this is, just make sure you know the features. You're not going to use every one of these every single time you code. So some of them you're going to have to come back and look these up occasionally. But at least you will have ran through some training and you have some familiarity with what you're doing. For the most part, once you get pretty good at coding in most software, you'll use about 20% of the features 80% of the time. So 80% of the features you're just going to have to learn them as you go, or at least come back and refresh every now and then. This example returns the items from orange, so -4. So remember, we're going to go back 1, 2, 3, 4, but not including mango. Okay, so on that note, I'm going to conclude this particular video, and we will pick up on this one at a later time.